Is Aaliyah's legacy being protected or flat out exploited? Because let's be honest, when you hear her name, you think timeless R&B, effortless style, and one of the most angelic voices to ever grace a track. But what if I told you that the music we're getting today under her name isn't really Aaliyah at all? Instead, it's watered-down AI vocals, clunky collabs she never approved, and family members cashing checks off of posthumous projects that feel more like experiments than tributes. Her so-called new singles sound less like baby girl's magic and more like a Blackground cash grab, complete with subscription apps, AI avatars, and even industry vets like Tank calling out the mess. And that's the hot take nobody wants to admit. Every time the label drops a new Aaliyah track, it's not preserving her memory, it's diluting it. The real question is, how much longer are we going to let the industry play with her name before her legacy gets lost in the noise? So how did we even get here? To a place where people think every new Aaliyah release is automatically a sacred tribute? Well, it's simple: nostalgia. Aaliyah isn't just another artist from the 90s. She's baby girl, the princess of R&B.
I've been watching you like the hawk in the sky.
The girl who made baggy jeans, shades, and a whispery falsetto into a cultural reset. Fans grew up with her, and because of that, they cling to anything with her name attached, and the industry knows it. They've spent years feeding us just enough legacy moments to keep that obsession alive. Think about it. The MAC makeup collab, the Barbie doll, the endless tribute performances, even celebrities name-dropping her in interviews like she's some kind of angel watching over the culture. All of it keeps her brand warm in our minds. So when Blackground or her estate dangles the promise of new music from Aaliyah, fans instantly believe they're about to hear hidden gems from the vault. The assumption is, of course, her family and her team would only release tracks that truly represent her. But here's the uncomfortable truth: that's not what's happening. Instead of carefully preserving her artistry, we're getting Frankenstein projects stitched together with leftover vocals, AI filters, and collaborations she never even had a chance to approve. And that's where the misconception comes in. People think these releases are tributes, when in reality, they're business moves. Here's the hot take. Most of the so-called new Aaliyah music we're getting, it's not really Aaliyah at all. Let's be real. When her latest track, Gone, dropped featuring Tank, fans were hyped. People thought this was finally it, a genuine vault release, something authentic, something that would remind us of why Aaliyah was untouchable. But the moment it hit, the comments lit up with suspicion. This sounds like AI. Why does it feel filtered? And the truth is, it did. Instead of smooth, soulful baby girl vocals, we got distorted layers, computerized echoes, and an overall vibe that felt off, like the soul had been sucked out and replaced with technology. Even Tank, who was literally featured on the song, had to come forward and distance himself, saying the version we heard wasn't what he agreed to. If that doesn't scream, something shady's going on, I don't know what does. And that's the heart of the problem. These releases aren't tributes, they're experiments. They're not about preserving Aaliyah's artistry. They're about squeezing every last dollar out of her name, no matter how artificial it feels. Fans keep hoping they're getting authentic Aaliyah, but what we're really getting is a lab project. A what-if scenario cooked up by a label desperate to cash in on her legacy. And if you thought Gone was bad, wait until you see how her label tried to package it. Because this wasn't just about dropping a single. No, they turned it into a full-blown hustle. Instead of simply letting fans stream the track on Spotify, Apple Music, or even buy it outright, Blackground decided the only way to hear it first was through their shiny new app, Blackstream AI. Let that sink in. An app literally branded with AI, plastered with Aaliyah's face, and charging fans a subscription just to hear her music. Tell me that doesn't sound like a cash grab dressed up as innovation. And of course, people downloaded it out of loyalty, because that's the power of Aaliyah's name. Fans will go the extra mile, even if it feels sketchy. But the backlash was instant. People were like, why do I need another subscription to hear Baby Girl? Why are y'all holding her music hostage? It reeked of exploitation. And here's the kicker. This isn't new behavior. For years, Blackground and Barry Hankerson, her own uncle, have been dangling the promise of unreleased Aaliyah albums. 2012, 2022, 2024, now 2025. It's always coming soon. But instead of vault gems, we get awkward collabs, AI filters, and gimmicky releases that feel more like experiments than tributes. At this point, it's hard not to wonder, are they really protecting her artistry or just milking her memory for every last dime? And if you think Gone was just a one-off misstep, let's not forget the disaster that came before it. Poison with The Weeknd. Remember that? Exactly.
Explain myself to you. Cold lurking through my mind.
Most people don't, and for good reason. It was hyped as this big moment, Aaliyah's voice paired with one of today's biggest stars. But when it finally dropped back in 2021, fans instantly noticed something off. Her vocals didn't sound raw or organic. They sounded processed, like they'd been shoved through a filter until all the soul bled out. It wasn't Aaliyah featuring The Weeknd. It felt like The Weeknd featuring a hologram of Aaliyah. Soulless, empty, forgettable. And yet the label keeps running the same playbook. Now we're hearing rumors about a full posthumous album loaded with features from Drake, Chris Brown, Future, even Snoop Dogg. Like, really? Can anyone picture Aaliyah vibing with Future's auto-tuned crooning in 2025? It sounds less like honoring her and more like a bad Spotify playlist gone corporate. This isn't about artistry. This is about clout chasing with her name attached. Every new release makes it clearer. Instead of carefully curating her legacy, they're tossing her vocals into collaborations she never asked for and never could have approved. Now here's where it gets messy, because even the people closest to Aaliyah's legacy can't seem to keep their stories straight. On one hand, you've got Missy and Timbaland, the duo most fans agree defined Aaliyah's sound. Yet when these new posthumous projects roll out, Missy stays suspiciously silent, and Timbaland, he's out here catching heat for signing AI artists of his own. Yes, the same man who swore only he could protect Aaliyah's artistry is experimenting with digital clones in the studio. Make it make sense. And let's not forget, Timbaland once called Aaliyah his musical soulmate, saying nobody else could touch her sound. But now, when her name gets dragged into questionable collabs with Drake, Chris Brown, or Future, he's either distancing himself or defending AI like it's the future of music. That's not soulmate energy, that's industry politics. It's hypocrisy at its finest. The same insiders who claim they want to protect Aaliyah's legacy are knee-deep in the very trends that are watering it down. And the worst part? Every time they stay quiet, it gives her label even more freedom to keep exploiting her name. And if the label's hypocrisy wasn't enough, let's talk about the people who actually keep Aaliyah's name alive. The fans, because they're fed up. For decades, fans have been begging for a proper vault release, something authentic from Baby Girl's archives. But what do they get instead? Empty promises. The album's coming in 2012. Nope. Wait until 2022. Still nothing. Then it was 2024. Now it's 2025. At this point, people joke that the release date is just as mythical as a Tupac comeback. And every time the estate opens its mouth, it's the same story. We're working on it. Trust us. Meanwhile, the only thing that drops are half-baked collabs, or AI-tweaked vocals, slapped onto tracks with whoever's trending. Fans don't want that. They don't want to hear Aaliyah sharing a song with Future in 2025. They want her. That's why when Gone came out, the biggest complaint was that it didn't even sound like an Aaliyah song. People said it straight up felt like Tank effed Aaliyah instead of Aaliyah effed Tank. And that's the insult. Fans aren't asking for her to be a feature on her own music. They're asking for the real, untouched Aaliyah. Instead, the estate seems more focused on apps, AI, and subscription models than on honoring what she actually left behind. And that's why the fan base, the same people who have kept her name alive for 20+ years, are starting to push back. And here's the thing, this isn't just about Aaliyah anymore. What's happening to her is just a warning shot for the rest of music. We've seen it before. Hologram Tupac at Coachella, Whitney Houston touring as a digital avatar, Pop Smoke's posthumous album stuffed with features he never asked for. It's the same formula. Take a beloved artist who can't say no, stitch together some unreleased material, slap AI polish on it, and call it honoring their legacy. Translation, it's about squeezing money out of the dead. But Aaliyah's case hits harder because she was so private, so controlled about her image, and so careful with her artistry when she was alive. She wasn't the type to overshare or jump on every trend. So seeing her brand get dragged into gimmicks, AI apps, and cash grabs feels like the exact opposite of who she was. And that's why fans are speaking out. It's not just about one bad single or a lazy music video. It's about the ethics. Do we really want the future of music to be AI versions of legends who never consented to it? Or do we finally say, enough is enough? Because if this keeps going, Aaliyah won't be remembered for her real artistry. She'll be remembered for the messy circus her name got pulled into after she was gone. And that, more than anything, is what risks tarnishing her legacy. At the end of the day, Aaliyah's true legacy doesn't need an app, an AI filter, or a messy feature list to survive. Her voice, her style, and her influence already cemented her as one of the most iconic artists of her generation. The danger isn't that fans will forget her. It's that the industry will water her down until her name is attached to projects that feel nothing like her. So maybe the real question isn't, when will we finally get new Aaliyah music? Maybe it's, should we even want it at this point? Because every half-baked release makes it clearer, her estate and her label won't protect her artistry the way she would've. And that's why my hot take is this: maybe it's finally time we leave baby girl's legacy alone. Because if the industry won't stop exploiting her, then the only way to protect her memory is for the fans to draw the line.